Hey everybody, Brendan here. Welcome back to the channel. And this discussion that we're about to have might be a little bit unpleasant for some of you. But the sad state of affairs is that this unfortunate conversation is very common for a lot of people. And a lot of people are using medications for years and years on end without understanding the financial costs, both long-term and the consequences that come along with them. Recently, I was speaking to a potential client who was somewhat apprehensive when it came time to committing to my coaching services. In fact, she had been on several different types of medications for well over 25 years. And it occurred to me that during this conversation that many people are also unaware of the potential risks associated with long-term drug use. So let's dive deep into the realities of long-term medicine use by having this difficult conversation together. If you don't know who I am, my name is Brendan. I'm also known as the Gut Whisperer, and I help adults lose unwanted body weight, reduce inflammation, improve their immune system, decrease their joint and body pains, completely dissolve brain fog, and increase their energy, all by rehabilitating their leaky gut. Now, you're going to want to stick with me until the end of this video because you're going to see just how much that she's spent on these prescription drugs over the past 2 decades. And then you be the judge. You decide which is more expensive, hiring me for a couple months or decades of doctor visits. Okay, so let's dive into this. First, I'm going to go into the medications and the symptoms and the diagnosis that she was treated with, and then we're going to go into the financial component on how much all of this costed her. So first and foremost, when she was in her teens, roughly 14, 15, 16, she was diagnosed with anorexia and bulimia. So the treatment was anti-anxiety medication, and the drug was Effexor. Now, when she was roughly around 20 years old, she was diagnosed with depression. And interestingly enough, anorexia, bulimia, depression, there's going to be continuous negative feedback for one another. So that in and of itself is going to continuously perpetuate this feedback mechanism. So in her 20s, she was prescribed anti-depression medication, and the drug was Prozac, simply because she stopped taking the Effexor. Now, after the diagnosis of depression, then came ADHD. Of course, she can't focus because she's depressed. And this happened when she was in her 20s. So what did they do? They decided to medicate her with focus medication, and the medication was Adderall, and she'd been taking Adderall for 20 plus years. Now, of course, with the continual sort of activity of anorexia and bulimia, even with sort of the recovery, or not so much recovery, but the medication which subsided that activity, she had a lot of acid reflux. She developed her acid reflux in her 30s. So what did they do? They medicated it. They blocked her stomach acid with a medication called Nexium, and she took the Nexium, she took the PPIs for 11 years. Now, of course, she's going to get more diagnosis. She's going to even feel even worse. So she developed anxiety. Developed anxiety towards food, she developed anxiety towards medication, she developed anxiety towards life. And this happened in her late 30s. So what do? They medicated her with anti-anxiety medication, and they prescribed her Ativan. This is sort of to consume when needed. Now, all of these were exact in the conversation. I also didn't even consider birth control, and I'm going to assume that she was taking birth control for at least 20 years. So let's dive into the financial aspect of all this medication. First, the SSRIs. This is a ballpark, and this is included with taxes. And I literally called 2 pharmacies. One pharmacy wouldn't give me the pricing. The other pharmacy, they did. And these are all actually generic prices. So if you're using the actual brand name, the ones that are the actual developer of these, they're going to be a little bit more expensive. And also, I don't care if you're paying out of pocket, or if you're like, oh, I don't have to pay because my coverage, my insurance, or my work pays for it. No, it's still coming off your paycheck, right? So you are paying for it. Like, let's be real here. So $24 a month, that's $288 a year. And so she was taking the Effexor for 15 years. That's a total cost of $4,320. Then she stopped taking the Effexor because that was ineffective. So then she began taking Prozac, which is even stronger, at $29 a month. That equaled $348 a month for 14 years. She's been medicating for 14 years, so almost 30 years combined just for the depression medication. So that equals $4,872. Now, the Adderall, she'd been taking for 20 years. So Adderall is a class of drug that contains amphetamines and dextroamphetamines. Per month, $45.20. Per year, $542.40. She's been taking that for 20 years. That equals $10,840. Now, Nexium, that's the bad one. That's the one that's been suppressing her stomach acid because she's got acid reflux from all of that anorexia and bulimia. $90 a month. This is a PPI. This is a proton pump inhibitor. $90 a month at $1,080 for the year, times 11 years, $11,880. Now, with the additional anti-anxiety medication, the Ativan, that's a little bit of a cheaper one, and I don't know how long or when she was taking that medication. Generally, it's used sort of like an onset of an anxiety attack. So this is a benzodiazepam, $19 a month, $228 a year. She'd maybe be taking that for roughly around 10 years, $2,280. Now, this is the one that I did not consider, and I'm estimating she may or may not have been taking birth control, but I'm going to assume chances are she'd been taking birth control just like so many women do. So birth control, $27 a month, $324 a year, 20 plus years, that equals $4,860. Now, do we want to know how much she's paid in the past 20 plus years of prescription medication? $39,052. $39,000. Here's the problem. Has she relieved any of her issues? No. Everything's gotten worse. Everything's gotten worse. So the doctor that she's been visiting or the psychologist or whomever, they should all lose their license. Straight up. Taking stomach acid suppressants for 10 plus years. Taking mood altering chemicals that completely disrupt your neurotransmitters and your brain chemicals and your mood for 30 years. As well as the contraceptive, the pill. Are you kidding me? And guys, this is normal. This is normal right now. This is a normal human being in today's day and age. I've seen way worse than this. I've got one lady who's in my program. She'd been taking Nexium for 23 years. And within 3 weeks of working with me, boom, completely off. No more symptoms. Her stomach's working again. Contrary to what other doctors might believe. This is normal. So $39,000, and she's balking at a few grand for me to help her completely relieve herself from all these medications. In less than 6 weeks, I can get her completely off all these medications, symptom-free, and actually starting to feel like a normal version of herself that she felt like maybe when in her 20s. But instead, she's medicating. So this is $39,000, but let's add up the unintended consequences. Let's add up the unintended expenses. How about not considering the fact of all of these missed opportunities for potential jobs or travel or relationships or just opportunities for life because she's feeling like a bag of crap because she can't make a conscious decision to do something positive because she's literally feeling like a bag of crap all the time. And then also the unintended consequences of all this medication completely altering her brain chemistry, completely disrupting her gut microbiome, completely destroying her gut. She'd mentioned on the call that she's spending hundreds and hundreds each month on supplementation and vitamin drip IV therapy. Vitamin IV therapy is great, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't replace nutrition and it doesn't replace food. And if you've got a completely atrophied stomach and if you've got leaky gut, you're not absorbing the food. So you're not absorbing the nutrients and you're not absorbing the supplements. You're literally just wasting your money. She's not going to get better, folks. She's not going to get better. I've seen this so many times. The only way to get better is to completely change course and follow someone that's actually done this before. And so it's so heartbreaking to think that so many people are locked in a continuous cycle of prescription drug abuse. And yes, this is drug abuse. And without being fully aware of the associated consequences and the health risks. You've seen in this example the long-term use of drugs like Adderall, Prozac, Effexor, Nexium, Ativan, and birth control. This costs well over $38,000, and that's money out of your pocket that you're paying every single month, every single year, and you're not even aware of the consequences for your physical and mental well-being. So the natural permanent fix, and I'm going to say this again, the natural and permanent fix would be my gut rehabilitation program. I wasn't able to save this person's life. I don't know where she's going to go, but I guarantee you I might be able to help you. So if you've stuck around to the end, I'm certain I can help you. And I hope that this video has really helped share some light on how crucial it is to approach our health and our well-being holistically, not with chemicals. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to click the link below and register for my free training where you're going to dive deep into my process, my GFL process. You'll actually see thousands of men and women just like you who've actually taken it upon themselves to change their lives. So I invite you to click that link, and I'll see you in the next video.